So we are starting with Nahum to tell us about issues on strategic human capital management. Wow, this is a very big topic. Strategic human capital management. Okay, continue. Welcome, sir.
Imagine a company where people love their jobs, rarely leave, and are always coming up with new ideas and to help the business grow. Achieving this doesn't just come down to having the best products or technology. It's about managing people strategically. It's about, exactly. Strategic human capital management. In short, SHCM means aligning HR strategies with the company's overall goals to ensure every employee contributes to the organization's success. But there are many challenges. How do you attract and retain the right talent, build a truly diverse and inclusive team, keep up with the fast changing technologies, and make sure HR initiatives support the business as a whole? In this presentation, we will cover these key issues and see how they impact companies. Then we will discuss some effective strategies and best practices to tackle these challenges and make the most out of your human capital. Finally, we will look at a real-world example to see how one company has successfully applied SHCM and what lessons we can learn from it. First, we have the one key issue. It's talent acquisition and retention challenges. One of the biggest challenges today is finding and keeping top talent. With so much competition in the job market, companies need to offer strong reasons for people to join and stay. This means having a clear idea of what skills and qualities are needed for each role. Without this clarity, companies might hire people who aren't the right fit, leading to high turnover and low productivity. On top of that, employees now expect more than just a paycheck. They want work-life balance, career growth opportunities, and a sense of purpose. Meeting these expectations has become tougher, but is essential to keep talent engaged and motivated. Secondly, we have managing workforce diversity and inclusion. Building a true diverse team isn't just about hiring people from different backgrounds. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels valued and included, no matter their gender, ethnicity, or other characteristics. Many companies struggle with issues like unconscious bias and a lack of inclusive leadership, which can prevent them from creating a truly diverse environment. To overcome this, companies need strong policies that ensure equal opportunities and promote a culture of respect and inclusion. Doing so helps drive innovation and sets the stage for long-term success. Third, we have adapting to technological advancements. Technology, especially AI and automation, is changing the way HR works. Routine tasks like screening the resumes and evaluating performance can now be automated. But there's a risk. Relying too much on the technology can take the human out of human resources. The challenge is to use technology in a way that supports decisions without losing personal connections and focus on employee well-being. Companies should see technology as a tool that enhances, not replaces human insight and decision-making. Lastly, we have aligning HR strategy with business strategy. Aligning HR strategy with the overall business strategy can be difficult. Too often, HR is seen as just a support function rather than a key partner in strategic planning. This disconnect can lead to HR initiatives that don't fully support the business goals, reducing effectiveness and wasting resources. To fix this, HR must work closely with leadership teams to ensure that all HR activities contribute to the company's vision and mission. When done right, this alignment creates a unified work environment where all departments move in the same direction, boosting overall performance and success. Now we come to the impact of SHCM challenges on organizations. Poor management of human capital can have serious consequences for organizations. If talent isn't handled properly, it often leads to lower employee engagement, decreased productivity, and high turnover. High turnover not only increases recruitment and training costs, it also disrupts teams and creates knowledge gaps that affect overall performance. Similarly, when diversity and inclusion are not managed effectively, companies miss out on the benefits of having diverse perspectives, which can limit creativity and innovation. This lack of diverse thinking can result in narrow, less adaptable culture that struggles to respond to change. Additionally, failing to foster an inclusive environment can lead to a negative company culture where employees feel undervalued and disconnected, which can hurt the company's reputation and make it harder to attract top talent. Another major issue is misalignment between HR and business strategy. When HR isn't aligned with the company's goals, initiatives may end up being poorly executed or even working against business objectives, leading to wasted resources and inefficiencies. In the end, this lack of alignment can result in lower employee satisfaction, reduced profitability, and hinder the company's long-term growth. Now we come to strategic solutions and best practices. Organizations can tackle the challenges in strategic human capital management by adopting a few key strategies and best practices. The first one would be implementing talent analytics. Using talent analytics allows companies to make a better decision when it comes to hiring, development, and retention. By analyzing data to spot skills gaps, predict future workforce needs, and measure employee performance, businesses can create more effective talent strategies. This not only helps in building a more skilled, adaptable workforce, but also reduces time and costs associated with recruitment and training. Second, we have strengthening the EVP, the employee value proposition. A strong EVP is crucial for attracting and retaining top talent. It clearly communicates what the company offers employees in exchange for their skills and commitment. A great EVP goes beyond just salary and benefits. It highlights career growth opportunities, work-life balance, and recognition of achievements. This helps set your organizations apart from competitors and make it a desirable place to work. Third, we have promoting continuous learning and development. Encouraging a culture of continuous learning is a key to keeping employees engaged and prepared for future challenges. Investing in training and development programs allows employees to constantly upgrade their skills, adapt to changing job requirements, and feel more connected to the organization. This focus on long life learning not only helps to retain talent, but also boosts overall job certification and performance. Lastly, we have leveraging technology for HR optimization. Technology can significantly streamline HR process by automating routine tasks like payroll management, scheduling, and record keeping. So now we have the case study. I want to ask you what company you can think of which implemented SHCM successfully. I think we can name 3 companies, so maybe you raise your hands. Nico, do you have one company in mind which implemented SHCM successfully? Can you think of one company which is treating their employees very well? I'm asking you guys about a company you can think of which provides a high EVP because they treat the employees very good. The employees feel very good at the company.
Yeah, I think maybe the big tech companies, for example, Google, Facebook, or Meta now, because there's free food there and you have a nice employee life.
I would say nearly every automotive company in Germany. So BMW, for example, Mercedes, Porsche, and because like the employees have up to 40 days of free holiday per year.
Yeah, I agree with Christoph. Definitely the bigger tech companies that want to attract top talent.
Like there's one company in Germany, like IG Metall, only has like 35 hours per week to work. So it's maybe also a good company to have good benefits for the employees.
Yeah, I think maybe Patagonia is maybe like an example because they all of their business is like not only profit based, because and also like they focus on sustainability and also like treating their employees well. So I think maybe you could mention them as an example.
Yes, I also think German car companies, because they're the employees get much benefits, and yes, it's not all about work; it's also about those benefits. I think. Yes.
Yes, exactly. You all could mention a lot of companies. That's also one reason why SHCM is important, because people keep their company's name in the memory for a good reason. And my example is Google, as mentioned from Christopher. Google has a data-driven HR approach. They use data in the hiring process. So they identify the skills, and based on that, they develop their onboarding process. The benefits are they can streamline the HR process and reduce biases, which could happen with the manager in the HR recruitment process. Potential downsides of this could be that personal factors and cultural fit could be overlooked by the data-driven approach. So the solution would be balancing data and human elements, focusing on well-being alongside analytics. And again, here the key takeaway is combining data with a human approach for success. Now, my conclusion is the importance of SHCM is it's very crucial for long-term success for companies. Key solutions are talent analytics, strong EVP, and continuous learning and technology. The future outlook for a lot of companies are strategic SHCM with set-apart companies. You will see which companies develop a good SHCM. And my final note is align people, growth, and strategy for sustainable success. Thank you for your attention. That's my presentation. Here are the references.
Okay, welcome. So we will start from the beginning to digest and look into what you have presented one after the other.
Here.
Why was the writing very little?
Is it so little?
Very tiny. Okay,
So
start from the beginning. Yeah, the issue of strategic human capital management.
Yeah.
Strategic human capital management. Did you give the definition? What is strategic human capital management?
Yes.
Okay, go to the content. Then, table of content, key issues in strategic human capital management, impact of strategic human capital management challenges on organizations, strategic solutions and best practices, case study, successful strategic human capital management implementation, conclusion and future outlook. Okay, we move on. Key issues in strategic human capital management: talent acquisition and retention challenges. Though tough to attract and keep talent, employees want growth and balance. Unclear roles lead to high turnover. Can you just go again slowly and explain all these issues with examples?
So the first point, talent acquisition and retention, it's about that companies have now a hard time to find workers that stay for a long time, especially I think in Western companies in the Western world. People leave their job very often. There's a lot fluctuation. So people leave their job after years and change to another job and so on. So that means the first point.
Talent acquisition, retention challenges.
Yes.
So what's the challenge there?
The challenge is to first get the right talent and keep them at the company, because a lot of talents leave the job after, for example, 2 years to the next company. So the challenge is to keep these people at the job, that they stay there, because they move to the next company.
So, but if it is a strategic human capital management,
Yes.
talent acquisition and retention challenges, so which means it will attend to the issue of leaving the job, right? So what you mean, I am having problem with what you mean by talent acquisition, correct? Because it will give you will provide a
retention.
pool of people who are qualified and have the talent.
Yes.
But then retention challenges, meaning that it will solve the problem of people leaving the job. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So they have the problem that they, for example, they say they have the business goal, they want to expand. So they need, for example, at this location, 100 employees, but they have 70. So the problem is they need,
The challenge then,
the challenge is to get first 30 talents, acquire these, and to keep all those hundreds, because if 50 leave, they only have 50 left. So that's the problem.
okay, so how about employee growth and what do you mean by employees growth and balance?
Employees want to grow and balance. That means you see a lot of employees, when they change the job, they get higher positions, because at that company they can't get the next position. So if they leave the job, they can grow another company. So that's a problem.
So what you mean there is that strategic human capital management
Yeah.
will then enable employees, enable the growth of the employee, because I am having issue the way the PowerPoint was structured
Okay.
and the bullets, but your explanation is perfect.
Yeah.
But then the way you put it in the PowerPoint,
Okay. The bullet points are too short, you mean?
yeah, you know, it was giving a conflicting, just like making it ambiguous. Yeah, but I think your explanation is actually excellent. But the PowerPoint, when I look at are you guys getting what I'm saying? Yeah, when I look at the way you design the PowerPoint,
Yeah.
you try to make it simpler, you simplified it, but the topic itself is very complex, that we need the kind of explanation you are giving now.
Yeah. That's why I did the presentation, so you can listen to what I said and then you understand.
So we can throw away the PowerPoint
Yes.
and listen to what correct.
And if they
That
forget, they can watch a YouTube video again and again.
Okay.
So that's why you do
Thank you for knowing that. That is great. Okay, now unclear roles lead to higher turnover. What do you mean by that? In the topic of talent acquisition and retention challenges in relation to strategic human capital management. That is where I just want it to be situated.
So the key point here is talent acquisition and retention. And the point you mentioned right now, unclear roles lead to high turnover. That's a sub point from the
Talent acquisition
Yes.
and retention
So
challenges.
unclear roles, for example, if my supervisor don't tell me where I will be heading, what's the next step in my career, I might leave this company, and that means why it's a subtitle from talent acquisition and retention, because then the people will leave and it's a problem for retention.
Okay, number 2, workforce diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
How can you relate it with the strategic human capital management?
Actually, that's a big topic for a lot of companies right now. As we talked before, they have diversity rates that they want, for example, to have women at a certain percentage at director stage. So that's the point of this.
Very good. I think it's well explained. Number 3, technical advancement. How can you link it to strategic human capital management?
This point, we see changes like AI or automation in HR, and they have to look for these technology advancements and how to implement them strategically, aligning with the business. So, for example, we see AI gets used more now. So they have to see how they want to implement this in the HR process for the long term.
Okay, well explained. Number 4, aligning HR strategy with business strategy. How can you link it to strategic human capital management?
That's basically the key point of strategic human capital, to align the HR strategy with the business strategy and not separate, isolated. For example, if HR says, yeah, we want to reduce the workforce, but the business plan is to expand, this will collate. So they need to work together and speak.
Wow. You seem to be very professorial in your explanation. It's not that the PowerPoint was so simplified that I got confused.
Yeah, because I want them to watch YouTube videos.
Okay, your question about this.
I think he
Key issues in strategic human capital management. Strategically. Dealing
So
on
klein.
human capital management.
Yeah, I think he explained it really good. With the technological advancement, I think it helps in setting up the strategy because you have a lot of more data you can use. And for example, with AI, you can do different analysis. Yeah, and I think that really helps the strategy.
What makes it strategic? Because that's the point.
Yeah, strategic. I think we had it yesterday with the long-term planning, that you don't just look at who you are hiring. So, for example, if I wanted to get into a different area, then I would hire an expert that already worked in that area, and that would be my strategy behind it.
Okay. Sebastian?
What would be like the biggest challenge while implementing SHCM in a company?
Again, what?
What would be the biggest challenge while trying to implement SHCM as a company?
I think the fourth point, aligning HR strategy with business strategy, because that's the most crucial point, I think. If
Okay.
that's not happening, the business strategy won't succeed.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? That's the biggest challenge?
Yes, I think I I agree with that.
Why do you agree with that?
Because I think business strategy in general can only be successful if the right people work within a company, and if you hire the wrong people to do the job, and the job is not executed correctly, your whole business strategy won't work out at the end.
Wow.
So regarding point 3, technological advancements, you wrote risk of losing human touch. So would you say it's important to still have a human supervising all the automation? So in the end, someone is still responsible for everything? I mean, like you wrote, support don't replace human decisions. So that the human still is doing the decisions and the automation is just supporting.
Yes. What? Was die Frage?
She's asking the question.
Sorry. Can
Yeah.
you rephrase your question?
Sorry. Do you think it's still important that the human is making the decisions at the end?
Okay. Nice question.
Yeah.
I think yes, because if there's only data-driven decisions, what are you doing? If there's only data-driven decisions, that can lead to biases. If the data people collected is not correct, then it could lead to problems like also racism. If the data is collected by racists, then yes, so that's a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, human decisions should be supported by data, but maybe not be entirely based on it. So it would be good to have support in the decisions, but in the end, have a human supervising everything.
Okay.
So to be honest, I don't really have a question. I think you explained it all really great. Also, when we also went through with Emmanuel. So I would also say that like retaining employees is like a real challenge nowadays for all the big companies, because they want, like, employees are changing because they want a higher salary, or they're changing because they are not really sure with the company. And I think it's happened more and more these times, also like in a globalized world, and we all learning English. It's easier to move in a different country than it was maybe 20 years ago. So I would agree with you and have nothing to add.
Okay, in terms of strategic human capital management, what can you say about the modern university setting? Do you envisage a situation whereby maybe in 30 years coming, we may not have a university again? Everything will be online. I mean, no need to come and sit like I mean, no need to come and sit like this. I'm listening to teachers. You can always do that online or ask AI whatever you want. Do you?
I would say like both. So there are both advantages and disadvantages. So when you have it online, you can watch it anytime. You can watch it at home. You can watch it lying in the bed and having like focus after work. Maybe you work part time and then do university the other time. It's also like nice watching YouTube videos and understanding everything when you're just at home, and maybe you can just like cook and have the video next to you and then learn with that. But I would say like also the university fact is really important. Just coming to university, have these social interactions and coming together, gather together and have a great time learning together. I would say.
The point is that who cares about social interaction again? Who cares about social interaction? Since we can do everything online, and then
I think like
the way I'm talking about strategically, the way the world is moving now. Because some universities may be changing a lot of things currently.
yeah, I think like social actions are always important. Also like for the mental health of the students. When you don't go out, you don't have like
Exactly.
you're just home in your own apartment.
Exactly.
That's why I think a mixture of both is the best. Like,
Perfectly said. But remember the COVID period, people were
Yeah.
just running mad for being at home alone. Okay, I think Nicholas has something to say.
I have another opinion about online lessons. I'm not a big fan of online university because I think a big point in my student life is that I connected with new people, and I wouldn't have connected with them like this if I didn't met them in real life. So I think, it's one of. Also, I think the most important thing in university life is to meet the people and see them, because it's not all about studying. It's about friendships for a lifetime, and to connect with people who have the same interests like me. And if I only have online lessons, I also have friends who started university while COVID, and they didn't see someone from the university for 1 or 2 years, so they didn't had friends like me since the beginning. So I think I had a greater time because I started later, and I had I didn't had online university. Just,
Wonderful.
and I think you have more discipline if you are at the university and not at home studying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to underline what Nico said, because me myself, I try to learn from home, because our university in Germany actually provides us the like our input online at some part, and I tried to do it at home, but it didn't work out quite well. My grades got worse, so next semester I started going to university again, and my grades got better again. And yeah, I think you explained it everything well. Maybe I think very important, but you already said it, is keeping the talents. I think that is really important, because searching for a new person which will fulfill the company's tasks as good as the people you already have is quite hard at some point, and it will cost a lot. So keeping talents is really important in the strategic human capital management.
Wow, wonderful. Okay, so I think this your topic is very sensitive and also very critical as well. And I think you explained it very, very well. Okay, can we see your next slide to see what you have for us? Wow, it's not seen. So tiny. You see that?
Yeah, it's big enough.
Impact of strategic human capital management challenges on organizations. But we cannot see anything there. Can you read it and then explain further since it is so tiny that we
Yeah.
cannot read?
So I start on the top left. Low employee engagement and productivity. That's one impact of companies. This will lead to high turnover, disrupt teams, and increase costs.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
So if employees are not very much engaged and productivity is low because of the problems mentioned before, these employees will leave the company, and that will disrupt teams and increase costs because they need to hire new people. Yes.
Low employees engagement and productivity, impact of strategic human capital management challenges on organization. Who understands this? So explain, please. Another contributor? Impact of strategic human capital management challenges on organization. Are you a philosopher?
Again, what? Yes, I'm a philosopher.
Because you are nuances, the way you coined words. Someone need to think, you know.
Yeah, we're at university. I think we should think.
Exactly. Okay, so can you, contribute us, please?
Yeah, I think Nahum gave like good examples under his explanation. So if you have like low employee engagement, then there will be like higher turnover, and it's really important, as we said before, to keep your employees, especially like in jobs. For example, you hire an engineer, and it's not really easy to get engineers. Then it's really important to keep them, especially if you have like high competition and other companies really looking to take your employees. That's why these challenges are really like changing all the time, and I think he explained it really great. So nothing more to add.
High turnover disrupts things and increases costs.
Yes. I mean, it's really cost challenging if you always have to hire someone, if you always have to plan to the future to just do the recruitment process, you have to hire employees for doing the recruitment process. And it's like good if you have like a more fixed part of team and not always someone who leaves. And yeah.
I also can give you a real life example. I worked at a big firm, and there are other firms which are very comparable to this firm. And the other firm took a whole team to their firm. So they left the company A to the company B. And company A has now a gap to fill, and they have now to look for another people. And these are transaction costs because they need HR to look for new people. And that's what I mean with this point.
Okay, so the second point.
Yeah. Lack of diversity and inclusion. So that leads to missed benefits from diverse perspectives, narrow, less adaptable company culture.
So can you give us an example to expansion on that?
Yes, there are a lot of studies which proves that diverse teams have more creative ideas and work better. And if the company lacks diversity, that leads to less better ideas and so missed benefits like diverse perspectives. Yes.
Okay, so the third one, negative company culture.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? As an impact of a strategic human capital management challenge on organization.
Negative company culture is an impact we get because of the mentioned before, or because of the key issues. When there's no workforce inclusion. You understand? So people feel undervalued and disconnected to the company, and that's why it's harder to attract and retain talent.
So, but then, hello guys, I don't know if you're getting all this, you're explaining them very well, but I'm coming from confusion how is an impact on
It's
strategic human capital management
challenges.
challenges
Yes.
of organization.
And these are challenges. Okay, maybe I phrased them, the title, maybe I phrased it not so
Yeah, that is
easy
what-
to read.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. These
Because
are,
you have explained it perfectly very
Yeah.
well in my own view.
yeah,
But then the title in this particular situation say impact of strategic human capital management challenges. Why should that be an impact of strategic?
okay, I phrased it maybe hard to read. I
It
mean,
looks as if it's the opposite, the
Yeah.
other way around.
challenges and their impact on companies.
Correct.
Yeah,
You see
this,
that?
yes.
So that my brain will grasp it. Challenges and what?
Challenges and the impact on companies. Yes.
Challenges instead of bringing in strategic human capital management into it.
Yes.
Even if you bring it into it, you have to situate it correctly because strategic human capital management is meant to avoid all this.
Yeah.
It is actually meant to avoid all these challenges.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When
Mm.
SHCM is not implemented, these are challenges which affect companies.
Exactly. Challenges of non-implementation of strategic
Yes.
human capital management. You
Yes.
see the way it's supposed to have been. Something like that, or depending on you.
Yeah.
But the way it is now is very confusing for me.
Yeah, it could be confusing then.
Yeah, okay. So the last one is that, but actually your explanations, luckily enough, you know what you're saying. And then you understood it clearly very, very well.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, so that is the most important part. Okay, now the fourth one is that,
Misalignment, or do you want to read it?
yes, you can go.
I can read, okay. Misalignment of HR and business strategy that leads to ineffective initiatives and wasted resources, reduced employee satisfaction and profitability. So, for example, we have company A and they have the business plan to expand, but HR has the plan to reduce employees because they want to meet certain goals for their sector, then this will collide.
Wonderful. See, you always have a very nice explanations and examples.
Right.
Okay, strategic solutions
Yes.
and best practices. Okay, guys, strategic solutions and best practices. We need your input so that you will not get lost.
Yeah, I would say implementing talent analysis, like you said, using the data to predict the future is basically the thing you want to do because it's all about strategy. If you have to grow and competition in the market, it's really important that you have the workforce you need and enough employees, skilled employees, and set the direction in which field you want maybe to expand. Yeah.
Can you give an example for leveraging technology?
Yes, for example, if you, as the subtitle is saying, automate tasks, for example, the payroll, you could use AI to fill out certain every recurring informations. For example, the street, if I want to do my payroll and informations like streets or name, surname can be automatically filled in.
Okay.
It makes the process more efficiently.
Okay, so you think that AI will play a crucial role in the future?
I think so, yes. A lot of companies are adopting it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this slide really just shows how important it is to plan for the future and have strategic solutions, like your topic. Because if you just focus on the short term, it won't last long. So on the other slide, you also showed what will happen if the company doesn't implement the right strategic practices. So I think it's really good to also involve technology.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Nahum, and also with Anna Katharina. I think it becomes more and more important every day to also use AI to, I think the future will be more automatic, also like in the globalized world, like everything is online, and also like the first point with the use of data. I think especially like in some situations when we have like crisis, for example, Corona crisis, it's not easy to assess if we need more people or not. And then it's really good to use some data to know if maybe to assess if we have gaps in the company, if we maybe coronavirus ends and we need more employees in our company. So I think you mentioned already well.
Yes, I think a really good point you mentioned is point 3, promoting learning and development. Because if you promote your employees and give them training sessions and not only working hours, then they also improve. And I think they also have a better feeling in your company. So I think yes, all those points are really relevant, but to this point, it's very cool for the employees to have training sessions to enhance their skills. And yes.
Yeah, I think point 3 is just what I was talking about in Sebastian's presentation. So we were talking about change and development, and that people tend to not like change at all. But I think in this point, it is important to provide training for your employees and let them like enhance their skills, like develop. And as you just say, so it increases the job satisfaction. And if your employees are satisfied with their job, they have more fun at work and will be more productive. And from this, the company will have more profit.
Wow. So, strategic solutions and best practices. Strategic solutions and best practices. Can you summarize it once again and link it why it is strategic?
So here are 4 selected by myself best practices to attack the problems mentioned before. And they're strategic because they are long-term and they should align with the long-term business plan. Like, for example, implementing talent analytics or strengthening the EVP, employee value proposition. So all the benefits a company offers to a employee, and other things like promoting learning and development. These are all long-term things. Also leveraging technology like AI. So that makes it strategic.
Wow, wonderful. Well said. Okay, next. So, what do you mean by successful strategic human capital management implementation? What makes it successful? Or you are just proposing?
I would
If
say
it's a case study, which example, which case are you talking about?
about Google.
Google?
Yes.
Okay, so could you explain further to us again?
So as mentioned before, I mentioned some solutions and best practices. And one of them was data-driven HR approach. And Google is using it, as seen in the first bullet point. And
But is it strategic? The fact is using, is it strategic?
yes, because
What makes it strategic? Because it's using or because it's Google?
Google is the company using this best practice.
Exactly.
And it's strategic because they use it to improve their HR process long term.
Once you use long term, you shut me up. And that's a smart way of handling it. Okay, continue. Benefit of talent analysis and potential downside. So, what is the connection between strategically successful strategic human capital management implementation as it relates to potential downsides? That's number 3.
So Google is the case study, it's the example, and they implemented successfully one best practice, data-driven HR approach, and there's pro and there's contra, like a lot of things in life. The pro is the benefits of talent analytics, they use it. For example, it streamlines HR process and reduces bias. The contra is they can overlook personal factors and cultural fit. So it's not only positive, you have to balance and you have to decide what you find more beneficial. Yeah, but they are balancing data and the human element, so they can get the best out of it.
Okay, you intend to continue as a businessman or an academic?
I think both goes hand in hand.
Pardon?
I think both goes hand in hand. I will. You mean what I'm doing privately?
Yeah, what you intend doing later? An
I will-
academic or just only a businessman?
later businessman, but now I will do my bachelor's and then my master's degree.
Why not PhD?
I'm not interested.
Because you sound professorial all the time,
Okay,
and
thanks.
you tend to explain things in a way that it's better to be a teacher.
Really? Maybe I also should start with YouTube.
So everybody will support the idea and you can do you have any case study? And then share with us.
Yeah.
Any case study you think is strategically very successful? In this case, in relation to strategic human capital management implementation.
Yeah, I mean, you use Google as a case study. I think you can also look at Apple, for example. They have had a really horizontal hierarchy, so there wasn't much reporting to managers, and they are also, I think, having free food. And the Apple campus, for example, this huge building is one of the most modern in the world. It's with the electricity and the parks inside, and I think it can really motivate the people to work there. And there are also sport benefits, and I think mental health facilities and everything. So I think Apple would be a great example as well.
At the company I recently worked, I think the employees there had a very good, social benefits. So my one colleague of mine, for example, was a hunter, and he had a dog, and the dog needed a lot of attention. So he was able to bring the dog with him to the office every day, and I think like this benefit makes his life as an employee much easier.
Because of the dog.
Because of the dog, yes.
Yeah, at the last company I worked at, they had implemented a new system where people were able to manage themselves online. And that was also, I think, a success because everyone was more comfortable and didn't need to go to just one person to confirm everything. So I think that was also a success.
Then how long term? How are we sure of the long term benefit?
Well, the long-term benefit is, I think, the working time. Yeah, the working time of the manager definitely decreased, and he was able to focus on much more broader perspectives of the employees, just like personalizing their career paths and stuff, and not manage all the time schedules.
Okay.
So I think we had a lot of technical companies like Google or Apple, and I think they are really doing really great with the successful SHCM implementation. Like giving just like a small example, maybe also the big four accounting firms also have a lot of HR monetized and database. So when you apply for a job at PwC, for example, or EY, they also have they're also using a lot of analytics and a lot of data to assess if the employee is the right person for the company. And I would say this could also be an example for strategic human capital management.
Okay, so Nicholas?
Yes, I think for for a company, the data-driven points are very important, but also the, as you mentioned in point 3, the personal factors and the cultural fit. So, because I think if you hire a new employee, it is not only important if he has the right academic background, but I think it's also important that he fits into the company and that he has the right personality. So I think you have to take a balance through those points, and then you can decide.
So when we talk about case study, there just came a company in my mind from Germany. It was like a something like a grocery store, I would say. It was called Schlecker, and I think this is like it's like a bad case study where it was not successful. So we just said successful one. So I thought I would mention a bad one. And this company was like known for observing all the time their employees. So we could say that the strategic human capital management was just bad of this company. They didn't manage their human capital well, and so they went bankrupt. And now
we are thinking about long term.
yeah, right.
We were just thinking
Yeah.
about today.
Yeah, and one bad thing was as well just managing their human capital bad.
So we got this idea of strategic, but it's very, very important. That's why many companies fail and many institutions also do not last. Okay, thank you very much for your wonderful. Okay, continue. Now we are about to conclude. So what have you to say about the concluding part?
Here are 4 points. The importance of SHCM is crucial for long-term success, as we saw. Key solutions are, as mentioned, talent analytics, strong EVP, and continuous learning, and technology use. And the future outlook for companies is companies who will use SHCM will set them will set them apart.
Okay,
And my personal final note is align people, growth, and strategy for sustainable success.
Okay, can we take it one after the other? When we concluding part, we take it one after the other. Anyway,
I can zoom if you want.
if you zoom it, there are 4 of them will not come out. So everybody have to comment. Okay, now let's deal with the number 1. Importance of strategic human capital management
Rauszoom?
crucial for long-term success.
So? Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
it's okay like this. It's okay. So everybody pay attention. This is the conclusive part so that we'll round up the class. So what are we to say? Look at what he pointed out there. He mentioned the importance of strategic human capital management, crucial for long-term success. The key. So the key solutions use talent analytics, strong EVP, continuous learning, and tech. Then again, future outlook from his PowerPoint is strategic SHEM will set companies apart. Set companies apart. Okay.
You understand?
You will explain to us.
Yeah.
Final note, align people, growth, and strategy for sustainable success. So we are running up. Everybody look at what he has there and then add and contribute.
I find about the solutions between talent analytics and tech, combining them because long-term planning and strategy, we need to analyze where you're strong and where you're weak, and how to change these things. Using tech, like area of AI, that program can be really useful.
Do you have any example?
For example, basically with artificial intelligence, you can nowadays just upload basically company data, and then you can have a program which analysis should do, and then you can just run it and don't have to edit much.
Okay.
I think strategic human capital management will be more important in the future because there is a lack of workforce in Western countries, for example, and the perfect planning of your human capital workforce in a company is essential for succeeding in your business strategy. And yeah, therefore I think will be, of course, it will be more important.
And I think this whole presentation highlighted how important and how it's important to maybe think about the strategy of the company aligns with the business goal. And I think that's also a huge outlook that strategy that companies apart because if they plan for the long term.
I agree with the rest and I also would say you had a great presentation and I would say strategic management will have like also very important that like we have like the whole competition market and like good skills and like separate each other. Maybe when the company like the markets will close, like work at this bank and the other bank, then when we have like different like we breaking which have differentiate between the companies. So I think it's a very good future outlook and also highlights their managers.
Yeah, I also think the strategic management is very important for all companies because if you don't analytics and don't improve, you don't provide your talents, if you don't want your employees in the company, then you won't be able to be at the same level as the other companies, and then you won't survive. So that is very important.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks for future outlook. I would say that in every topic we are talking about theology and maybe something like AI more present and will have human resource management to manage their make better strategies. So as you already said, human capital is that's more important because we have like less human capital. Especially in German, we're not getting enough children. Less human capital, so it's more important to manage it better. Why is it like that in Germany? I think children are more expensive. Children are expensive. And some people, but the government takes care of it. I think it's not enough. They don't, yes, get money from the state when you have children. Not enough. I think, how much is it? Like, yeah, like 200 euros per month. It's not enough to take care of children. But then you have to still population. Yeah, right. But then what if like individual person, like the individual person doesn't care like about the community or the society if they can't take care of themselves. And if you have to work all day and you have to take care of the children, you have not a good life. So then does it mean that Africa we have enough experience? Yeah, situation. I can marry more than I can. Yeah, maybe it's because in most, even though we're poor anyway. Yeah, but maybe because the career and the work life is not as important for the people as in Germany, because in Germany many people want to career and step up in their work life. And getting children is like kind of a problem with that, especially for women, but for men as well. Most of the men, if you get children, you spend time with the children, but the company won't like spending time with the children, but you can't work on this. I think that's maybe a reason why people are getting children. And it's not Germany, but all over the world, the bigger industrial countries, people are getting less children. So I think that's a big problem, and that's why human
strategic human capital management is involved. Exactly, right, the connection. Some people not really very well.
Okay, I have my mic here, but yeah, on this topic, there's actually a lot of studies where it's about this, and they want to find out why there are less children in these countries, like in Germany or in Italy, for example. And they find that if the country gets more developed, the childbirth lowers because of a lot of reasons they mentioned.
Yeah.
So Germany in the past, when they were not that much developed, also had a lot of big families where they had more than 10 children. So it's just a fact of more a factor of wealth than culture, I think. Yeah.
That's very correct. That's very correct. At the States, we are religious as well. In Germany, don't you know that? A lot of religions, definitely.
That's also a factor, yes. Get more children, I think. And Germany is getting more atheists, so they could also be a part.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a very, very hard topic, but in my own view, you handled it perfectly very well.
Thank you.
And you explained it, oh my God, in the way that anybody can easily understand what you're saying. In my own view.
Thanks.
Yeah, so-
Also my view.
So thank you very much. As you see next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.